The poison hit me like a freight train from hell, burning down my throat before I even realized the glass wasn't mine. I remember the metallic tang mixing with the bourbon, my vision blurring as Sarah's smile, that perfect, predatory curve of her lips, faded into the haze of the crowded bar. To old times, she toasted, her eyes gleaming like she already owned my obituary. And then nothing. Blackness. Betrayal so deep it echoed in my soul even as my heart stuttered to a stop on that cold ER gurney. But death isn't the end when you've got unfinished business. I woke up gasping, not in some sterile morgue, but slumped over the same damn bar in the velvet rope, my fingers still wrapped around a condensation-slick highball glass. The date on my phone screamed 2019, 6 goddamn years back. The night it all started unraveling. My heart hammered like I'd mainlined adrenaline. This wasn't a dream. This was a do-over. And Sarah? That bitch was right across from me. Mid-laugh. Her blonde waves catching the low light just like before. I blinked hard, tasting the untainted whiskey on my tongue. No burn. No fade to black. Just the thump of EDM bass and the chatter of Wall Street wolves unwinding after hours. My name's Hannah Riley. Or it was 32. Rising star at Kensington and Hale. The kind of corporate shark who closed deals before breakfast and charmed boardrooms by lunch. Back then, I thought Sarah Klein was my ride or die. My sorority sister from NYU who'd clawed her way up beside me. We shared everything. Late-night confessions over cheap rows. Breakdowns after bad breakups. Even that godforsaken internship where we photocopied our asses for the hell of it. Sisters in stilettos. But she wasn't slipping anything into my drink tonight. Not if I had anything to say about it. My mind raced, piecing together the fragments of my future life, the one I'd just clawed out of. It started with that merger, the biggest of my career, acquiring Biogen Labs, a biotech startup with patents that could rewrite oncology. I spearheaded it, poured my soul into the due diligence. Sarah was my second in command. All eager nods, and I've got your back. Hun. Lies. All of it. The betrayal unfolded slow, at first. Like a leak you ignore until the basement floods. Whispers in the executive lounge. Hannah's pushing too hard, burnout risk. Then the audit flags. Discrepancies in Biogen's financials. Buried R&D reports on failed trials. I dug in. Found the rot. Falsified data. Kickbacks to execs. Evidence that could have tanked the deal. Exposed the whole firm to SEC scrutiny. But before I could blow the whistle, Sarah fed me to the wolves. She planted the docs in my office. Doctored emails, making it look like I'd greenlit the fraud. Creative accounting, she called it in her testimony. Creative my ass. She testified against me at the internal hearing, her voice steady as she detailed my ethical lapses. The board bought it hook, line, and sinker. I was fired in disgrace, blackballed from every firm in the tri-state. That should have been the end, but Sarah wasn't done. She swooped in, took my job, my corner office, even my goddamn Rolodex. And me, I spiraled. Booze, bad decisions, a string of one-night stands that left me hollower than before. Then the lawsuit, Biogen suing Kensington for misrepresentation, dragging my name through the tabloids as the fall guy. Whistleblower or crook. Ex-exec's double life expose. They painted me as the villain, the ambitious bitch who'd sell her soul for a bonus. I fought back, hired a PI, uncovered Sarah's trail, emails to Biogen's CFO, Cozy dinners bankrolled by offshore accounts. She wasn't just covering her ass, she was the architect, siphoning millions through shell companies tied to her shady-ass husband, some hedge fund douche named Victor. I confronted her that night in the bar, the same one I was reliving now. "You set me up," I slurred, half a bottle deep. She laughed it off, slipped the roofie into my refill when I turned to hail a cab.
Why?
To silence me before I could go public with the PI's files. The overdose looked like suicide, despair of a disgraced exec.
Clean. Neat.
Her ascension complete.
Now.
Staring at her across the scarred oak table, that laugh still hanging in the air like smoke. Rage boiled up hot and righteous. This time, I wouldn't drink the Kool-Aid. I'd pour it right back down her throat. "Sarah," I said, my voice steady as steel, sliding my glass toward her. "You look like you could use a refill." Rough day closing that Anderson account. Her eyes flicked to the glass, then back to me, that practiced warmth snapping into place. "Hannah."
God.
"You read my mind." "Yeah. It's been a grind." She reached for it, fingers brushing mine, cold, calculating. I watched, heart pounding, as she lifted it to her lips. But I wasn't done. Not by a long shot. The bar pulsed around us, a microcosm of New York's underbelly, brokers in rumpled Armani nursing grudges, models slinging shots for tips, the air thick with cologne and desperation. I leaned in, forcing a smile that didn't reach my eyes. "Remember that time in college? Spring break in Miami, when we switched drinks to prank Jake. Best night ever." Her laugh tinkled like breaking glass. "How could I forget? You were unstoppable. Unstoppable until you stopped me." As she sipped, I scanned the room, mapping exits, faces. Victor was late, always was. That prick with his Rolex and his wandering eyes. In my old timeline, he'd show up just in time to console me after Sarah's little chemistry experiment. This time, he'd walk into his own trap. I excused myself to the ladies' room, pulse racing, and pulled out my phone. No PI yet, I hadn't hired him. But I had 6 years of hindsight, a Rolodex in my head, and a fire in my gut that no boardroom could extinguish. First call. My old mentor, Elena Vasquez, retired partner at a rival firm. She'd smelled the Biogen bullshit from a mile away back then, warned me off the deal. "Hannah, mergers like this? They eat the weak." If anyone could verify the discrepancies now, pre-deal, it was her. "Elena, it's Hannah. Listen, I need a favor." "Off the books." Her voice crackled warm over the line, like aged scotch. "Kid, it's midnight on a Thursday. This better be good. It's about Biogen. The acquisition. I think there's fraud buried deep, falsified trials, slush funds. Can you poke around your old contacts?"
Discreetly.
A pause. Then a low whistle. "You're jumping the gun, aren't you? Deal's months out. Trust me."
Just.
"Trust me," she agreed, because Elena always had my back. Unlike some. Back at the table, Sarah was midway through her drink, chatting up a suit with a comb-over. Victor sauntered in then, all broad shoulders and bullshit charm, dropping a kiss on her cheek that lingered too long. "Ladies, what's the occasion?" "Reunion," I said, clinking my fresh glass, water on the rocks. No ice to his. To climbing the ladder. Together. His grin was oil slick. Here. Here. We talk shop. The merger looming like a guillotine. Sarah steered it masterfully, dropping hints about streamlining ops that I knew now were code for her embezzlement pipeline. Every word was a thread I could pull, unravel her sweater one lie at a time. By last call, she was tipsy, cheeks flushed, Victor's hand on her knee under the table. I played along, the perfect fly on the wall. You two are goals, I teased, watching her eyes for the flicker of guilt. There was none. Just ambition, raw and unapologetic. As we spilled onto the sidewalk, rain-slick streets reflecting neon halos, I hugged her goodbye, tight enough to feel her ribs. Can't wait to crush this deal with you. Me too. Hun. Her breath was whiskey sweet. My poison. I watched them hail a cab, Victor's arm around her waist, and pulled up Uber on my phone. Home.
For now.
But tomorrow, the games began. That night, in my overpriced Chelsea walk-up, sleep evaded me like a guilty conscience. Memories looped, the courtroom, Sarah's perjured testimony slicing deeper than any knife. MS. Riley lacked the judgment for leadership, she'd said. Voice honeyed venom. The judge's gavel. The headlines. The bottle of pills I'd swallowed in despair. Victor's voice on the news. Tragic. She was under so much pressure.
Fuck that.
This life was mine to rewrite. I fired off emails at 3 a.m. to the SEC tip line, anonymous, with breadcrumbs from my future knowledge. Vague enough to stir the pot, specific enough to make them bite. Biogen CFO, his Cayman accounts. Sarah's consulting fees, routed through Victor's fund. Dawn broke gray over the skyline, and I was already at my desk. Sophia Blosk as my muet. The office hummed with fluorescent buzz. Interns scurrying like roaches. Sarah breezed in at 9 sharp, power suit hugging her like a second skin. Morning, boss, she chirped, dropping a latte on my desk. Extra shot. Just how I liked. Thanks, I murmured, dumping it in the sink when she turned away. Trust. But verify. The day blurred into meetings, the merger pitch solidifying. I nodded along, but my mind was elsewhere plotting. Step 1. Isolate her allies. Victor first. A quick LinkedIn dive. Then a call to his assistant, really? His side piece from the old timeline. Tell him Hannah Riley says hi. And that I know about the Hamptons weekends. By noon, his text lit up my phone. What the hell?
We need to talk.
Not yet, I replied.
Soon.
Sarah noticed my distraction at lunch, her fork pausing over the Cobb salad. You okay?
Seam. Off.
Just the pressure, I lied, spearing a cherry tomato. This deal's everything. She reached across, squeezed my hand. We've got this. Teamwork. Teamwork.
The word tasted like ash.
That afternoon, Elena called back. Hannah, you psychic or what? My guys got whispers. Biogen's got skeletons. Off-books trials bombing out. And get this, ties to a hedge fund. Klein Investments, Victor's outfit.
Bingo.
Keep digging, I said. And Elena, if this blows, I want it on the kill shot. She chuckled. Atta girl. As the sun dipped low, casting long shadows across Midtown, I felt the first thrill of the hunt. Sarah thought she was the queen bee. But queens get swatted. Little did she know, I was the one holding the fly swatter. Weeks bled into a frenzy of spreadsheets and schmoozing, the merger devouring days like a starved beast. I played my part, the diligent leader, the loyal friend, while shadows lengthened behind the scenes. Sarah thrived in the chaos, her ideas brilliant, her emails CC'd to the brass. But every late-night strategy session, every shared Uber home, I cataloged her tells, the way her laugh sharpened when Victor's name dropped, the quick glance at her phone during board calls. She was building her empire on my grave. Not this time. The first crack appeared at the client dinner, a swanky affair at Per Se with Biogen's execs. Candlelight danced off crystal, the Hudson glittering beyond floor-to-ceiling windows. I sat across from Dr. Ellis, Biogen's CFO, his bow tie askew from too much Pinot. Sarah flanked me, all charm and callback questions, but I saw the sweat beading on her upper lip. Impressive pipeline, Ellis slurred, eyes on me. Those oncology patents? Game changers. I smiled, swirling my water. We vetted thoroughly. No surprises. Sarah chimed in, too eager. Hannah's the detail queen. She'd spot a red flag from orbit. Under the table, her heel nudged mine, our old signal for back me up. I nudged back. Harder. Not tonight. As dessert hit, molten chocolate that stuck in my throat like regret, I dropped the bomb. Casual. Like discussing the weather. Speaking of flags, Dr. Ellis, I hear your R&D team's been innovating off books. Cayman incentives? Smart tax play. The table hushed. Ellis choked on his espresso, bow tie tightening like a noose. Sarah's fork clattered. Hannah. What? Just hypotheticals. I cut in, eyes locked on Ellis. We've all got creative structures these days. He recovered with a forced chuckle, but the damage was done. Whispers rippled to the partners. By the valet. Sarah cornered me, breath hot against my ear. What the fuck was that? You trying to tank us? Relax, I whispered back, hailing my car. Just keeping them honest. You taught me that. Her eyes narrowed, suspicion flickering like a bad bulb.
Good.
Let it burn. Victor called the next morning, voice a low growl. We need to meet. Now. I picked the spot, a dive in Hell's Kitchen, the kind with sticky floors and no CCTV. He slid into the booth, reeking of entitlement and Axe body spray. What's your angle? Riley? Threatening my wife. Wife. I arched a brow, sipping flat soda. Funny. The Hamptons photos say otherwise. His face purpled. Blackmail? That's low. Even for you. Not blackmail. Leverage. I leaned in, voice dropping. Sarah's playing with fire on this deal. Biogen's dirty, and she's got her fingers in the pie. Help me clean it up. Or I send those pics and the SEC tips to every contact in your book. He blustered. Threatened lawyers. But I had him. In the old life. He'd laughed off my accusations. Safe in Sarah's web.
Now?
He was unraveling. A thread I'd yank until the whole sweater came apart. Think about it, I said, tossing cash on the table. Family first, right? Back at the office. The tension simmered. Sarah's emails turned clipped, her laughs forced. She started sidelining me, CCING partners directly. Accidentally, excluding me from key threads. Classic power grab. I let her, building my dossier in secret, screenshots, timestamps, Elena's anonymous leaks to a Wall Street Journal stringer. The real heat cranked up at the due diligence review. A marathon in the glass-walled conference room. Stale coffee and egos clashed as lawyers pored over Biogen's ledgers. I spotted it first, the discrepancy. A $2 mill line item labeled consulting, routed to Klein Investments. Sarah's baby. Curious, I said aloud. Highlighter poised. This fee, unusually high for prelim work. Who's the consultant? The room froze. Sarah's pen scratched paper too loud. Internal matter, she murmured. I'll clarify. Clarify now, the lead auditor barked. A bulldog from Deloitte. She stammered, spinning some bullshit about vendor incentives. I jumped in. All innocence. Sarah's right. It's aggressive, but innovative. Reminds me of that Enron playbook. Remember? Hon? We studied it in ethics class. Snickers rippled. Her glare could curdle milk. The auditor flagged it for follow-up. And just like that, the deal hit a snag. Partners circled like vultures, questioning her judgment. Klein, this better not bite us. That night, alone in my apartment, I cracked a bottle of the good stuff, actual bourbon. No chasers. The city hummed below. A beast that never slept, much like my vengeance. Was I the villain here? Planting doubts. Twisting knives? Hell yes. But Sarah had written the script first. I just flipped the pages. The twist came mid-month. A curveball from Elena. Hannah, your hunch? It's bigger than fraud. Biogen's trials, they weren't just failed. They killed people. Off-label testing on terminal patients. No consent. Buried reports. But I got a whistleblower.
Alactad.
Scared shitless. My stomach dropped. In my old life, that came out post-collapse. Lawsuits raining like confetti. Patients' families picketing Kensington's lobby. Sarah testifying she'd inherited the mess from Hannah. More blood on my hands. This changes everything, I breathed. We go public. Not yet. But if you blow it open pre-deal, you're the hero. Or the martyr. Hero. The word tasted foreign. I'd spent years as the goat. Scapegoat for corporate sins.
Now?
I'd wield the truth like a blade. Sarah sensed the shift. Cornered me in the break room over vending machine chips. You're gunning for me, aren't you? What happened to us?
Us.
The myth we'd built on late nights and lies. Nothing happened. Sarah. Just doing my job. Bullshit. Her voice cracked. Vulnerability peeking through the armor. For a split second, I saw the girl from NYU, the one who'd held my hair back after tequila shots. Promised we'd conquer the world. Then the mask slammed down. You always were jealous. My ideas. My network. Victor thinks so, too. Victor. My pawn was turning. I laughed. Low and bitter. Ask him about the network. Or the afternoons in his office. She paled. Slapped me. Hard. The crack echoing off Formica. Security poked heads in. I waved them off. Cheeks stinging. Feel better? She stormed out. Heels clicking fury. That night, my phone buzzed. Victor. She's spiraling. Meet tomorrow? The trap was set. We convened in a coffee shop off Madison. Neutral ground with baristas who didn't give a damn. Victor looked haggard. Tie loose. eyes darting. She's cracking. Hannah. Paranoia, accusing me of leaks. If this deal implodes, we're ruined. Ruined. The word hung sweet. Then help me end it clean. He hesitated, then slid a USB across the laminate. Bank records. Her signatures on the transfers. Offshore too. Use it. But spare me the fallout. Coward. But useful.
Deal.
As I pocketed it, doubt gnawed. This wasn't just payback, it was demolition. Families ruined. Careers torched. Sarah's, yes. But the collateral? Biogen's victims screamed in my nightmares. Ghosts of trials I'd unknowingly greenlit. Screw it. Vengeance wasn't clean. It was a blood sport. The leak hit Friday. Anonymous dropped to the journal. Kensington merger marred by Biogen scandal, falsified trials, executive kickbacks. By Monday, the office was a war zone, reporters at the gates, partners in damage control. Sarah's desk sat empty, her frantic voicemails piling up. Han. Call me. We can fix this. Fix this? Like she'd fix me with a roofie and a fabricated suicide? I deleted them. Forwarded the USB to Elena. Light the fuse. The board summoned us that afternoon, me and Sarah, side by side in the oak-paneled chamber. A modern inquisition. She looked wrecked. Mascara tracks. Blouse untucked. I swear. I didn't know. She sobbed as the evidence scrolled. Transfers. Emails. Her digital fingerprints everywhere. The chairman, old money, with a stare like frostbite,
Turn to me.
Riley, your take. I stood tall, voice even. I uncovered it weeks ago. Tried to contain it internally. But some things you can't bury. Sarah whipped around, eyes wild. Liar.
You planted it.
You're framing me.
Gasps.
The room tilted toward spectacle. I met her gaze.
Calm as a grave.
Why would I? We're friends. The lie landed like a gut punch. She lunged, nails raking my arm before security hauled her back. You bitch. You always wanted this. Chaos. Cops called. Statements taken. As they cuffed her, wrists slim in Chanel, she spat. This isn't over.
Hannah.
I'll take you down with me. But it was over. For her. Or so I thought. The fallout was biblical. Headlines screaming corporate poison. Kensington exec busted in merger fraud. Sarah's mugshot splashed across CNBC like a bad omen. Victor vanished into the ether. His fund under FBI probe. Hampton's hideaway raided by dawn.
Me?
I emerged the white knight, lauded in internal memos as the ethical cornerstone. Elena pulled strings. By week's end, I had her old office, a promotion etched in glass and backslaps. Champagne toasts in the lounge. Partners murmuring. Riley saved our asses. Saved them? I torched the bridge Sarah built on my bones. Vengeance tasted like victory, sharp, intoxicating. But nights alone. The ghosts whispered. Biogen shuddered. Trials exposed. 32 patients. Desperate souls guinea-pigged without consent. Families sued. Settlements draining the firm like an open vein. I attended the first memorial anonymously. A church basement in Queens reeking of coffee and grief. A mother's wail. They promised hope. Echoed my own buried screams. Was I absolving or just shifting blame? Sarah's trial loomed like storm clouds. Arraignment a circus of flashbulbs and soundbites. I testified. Voice steady. detailing the discoveries that were really echoes from my grave. Her lawyer, a slick ambulance chaser, grilled me. MS. Riley, isn't it true you harbored resentment? A rivalry for the top spot. Resentment, I echoed,
Leaning into the mic.
she was my closest ally. That's why her betrayal cut deepest. The jury ate it up, sympathy for the jilted friend. Sarah glared from the defense table, gone in orange, her beauty eroded to bone. Once, during recess, she cornered me in the hall, guards hovering. You think you're clean? I know what you did.
Hannah.
That internship, NYU. The money we took. Skimmed from the dean's fund for that party. You covered it up. I have proof. My blood iced. Flashback, sophomore year. Broke and bold. We'd hacked the alumni donation ledger. Funneled $5,000 for a blowout bash.
Busted mid-party.
But I took the fall. Expulsion scare. Probation. Sarah walked free. My gift for sisterhood. She'd buried it deep. Or so I thought. Blackmail now. I hissed. Pathetic. It's truth, she whispered. Eyes fever bright. You framed me to bury your own sins. Testify to that. Or it goes public. Leverage. Her last card. I laughed.
Low.
Play it. See how far it gets you behind bars. She didn't. Not then. But the seed rooted. Doubt festering like an untreated wound. Life accelerated post-trial. Verdict. Guilty. 20 years on fraud and conspiracy counts. Victor flipped. Plea deal for testimony. Spilling on her manipulative marriage. I climbed higher. Head of M&A. Speaking gigs at Wharton on ethics in the C-suite.
Surface shine.
Underneath, paranoia. Every shadow held her ghost. Every anonymous email, a potential bomb. The decision came on a crisp October morning. Leaves bleeding red in Central Park. A tip from Elena. Sarah's appealing.
Hired a PI, digging into your past.
That NYU thing? It's resurfacing.
Fuck.
The old me would have panicked. Lawyered up. Paid hush money.
New me?
I went nuclear. Controversial? Hell. It was scorched earth. I called in favors, a hacker buddy from my wilder days. Owed me from a bar fight bail. Find her dirt. Everything. By nightfall. Dossiers piled. Sarah's abortion at 20. Hushed up to snag a sorority bid. Victor's assault charge. Expunged with Daddy's checkbook. Even her mentorship at Kensington in reality. Sleeping her way to second in command. HR complaints buried under NDAs. Moral high ground? Slippery as hell. I leaked select bits to the press. Jailed XX hidden scandals, from campus theft to boardroom betrayal. Tabloids feasted. Her appeal tanked under public venom. Monster in heels, they dubbed her.
Parole de rime? Dust.
But the cost gnawed. Sleepless nights. Therapy sessions where I danced around the truth. I died once. Killed by her hand. Now I'm the killer. My therapist, a no-nonsense shrink named Patel, probed gently. Regret. Hannah, these leaks, they're aggressive. Justice, I countered. She poisoned me. Literally. He blinked. Metaphor. Memory. Close enough. The controversy peaked at the ACFE conference. Anti-fraud shindig in D.C. I keynote. Betrayal from within. Spotting the serpent in your garden. Standing ovation. Book deals whispered. Then Q&A, a plant. I later learned Sarah's PI posing as a journo.
MS.
Riley. Sources say you profited from the Biogen collapse. Consulting fees from competitors. Hypocrite much? The room gasped. Camera's word. Sweat prickled my blouse. Baseless, I shot back. Check the filings. I'm clean, but doubt rippled.
Post talk.
Whispers followed. Too convenient. Her rise. Elena pulled me aside in the hotel bar.
Scotch in hand.
They're gunning for you.
Kid.
Walk away while you're ahead. Ahead, I snorted. I'm waist deep in a swamp, she sighed. Vengeance is a thirst that never quenches. What's your endgame? Endgame. I'd clawed back my life. But at what price? Friends distance too toxic now. Dates fizzled. Who wants a woman with skeletons rattling louder than yours? And the victims. Those 32 faces haunted my dreams. Accusing, you knew. You profited. Sarah's letter arrived weeks later. Smuggled via a guard's pity. Prison stationery. Her script jagged. You win.
Hannah.
But the mirror lies. We're the same thieves in the night. That NYU money? I kept the receipts. For you. In case you ever forgot. Enclosed, a faded photo. Us at 19. Arms linked. Grins wide. Innocence lost. I burned it in the sink. Watched flames lick the edges.
Same? No.
She'd kill for power. I'd kill to live. The high tide of my revenge crashed at Christmas. A Kensington gala at the plaza, crystal chandeliers. Caviar dreams. I arrived solo. Gown blood red like a warning. Mingling. Schmoozing. The queen bee reborn. Then Elena. Face ashen. FBI. At the door. For you. My world tilted. Agents in ill-fitting suits. Badges flashing. Hannah Riley?
We need to talk.
Biogen, new evidence. You weren't on it from the start. Heart slamming. I followed them to a side room. Gold brocade, walls closing in. Lead agent. A stone-faced Latina named Torres. Slid photos across, me and Sarah. The college shots, forged emails, timestamps, doctor to show my sign-off on the fraud. Sarah, I breathed. She flipped the script. Torres nodded. From her cell. Claims you masterminded it all, framed her to cover your ass. And this. She tapped the NYU pic. Petty theft? Shows pattern. Motive for escalation. Bullshit. But her PI had twisted it. Planted digital ghosts. My hacker? Compromised. Or worse, hers all along. Panic clawed. Call my lawyer? Fight? Or run? The gala thrummed beyond the door. Oblivious. I want counsel, I said, voice cracking for the first time. As cuffs clicked cold, final, Torres leaned in. One call. Make it count.
Ideale de Elena.
Voicemail. It's me. They're coming for everything. The truth. It's uglier than you know.
Click.
Silence. They led me out a back exit. Paparazzi frenzy waiting like jackals. Flashbulbs seared. Shouts blurring. Hannah, did you poison the deal? Poison. The irony burned. In the squad car, Manhattan's lights streaking past, I closed my eyes. Death round 2?
Fitting.
But as the precinct loomed, a spark ignited. Sarah thought she'd won. Buried me again.
Wrong.
I'd risen once. I'd rise again. Holding cell smelled like bleach and broken dreams. Hard bench. Flickering fluorescence. The distant clang of gates sealing fates. I sat ramrod straight. Mind a whirlwind. Sarah's gambit. Brilliant. Desperate. From her cage, she'd spun a web, using the NYU relic as the hook, reeling in fabricated evidence to drag me down. The appeals board loved it. New witness testimony, her PI swearing I'd confessed the frame job over drinks. Lies layered on lies. Her MO. To the bitter end. Lawyer arrived at dawn. A pitbull named Marcus from Elena's Rolodex. It's bad.
Hannah.
Feds have emails, yours. Timestamped pre-deal. And the photo? They spun it as character assassination gold.
Spun it?
Rubbing wrists raw from cuffs. It's all fabricated. Sarah's doing her revenge from inside. He nodded. Scribbling. Plausible. But we need proof. Your side of the story?
The story.
My death. The rebirth. The calculated dismantling. Too insane for court. Dig into her PI. He's dirty, probably on payroll from Victor's slush fund. Marcus leaned in, eyes sharp. And the victims? Biogen's suits name you as co-conspirator. Families want blood.
Blood.
I'd given them justice. Exposed the trials. But in their eyes, I was the face of the firm, the exec who'd signed off. Guilt twisted like a knife, 32 lives, reduced to exhibits A through Z. I'll testify, I said. Full disclosure. Trial prep blurred into a haze of depositions and discovery. The courthouse a coliseum of egos.
Shara testified via video link.
Prison green stark against the screen. Her smile a ghost of the bar that night. Hannah orchestrated it, she purred. Voice steady. The fraud. The leaks, all to climb over me. She's ruthless. Always was. The prosecutor beamed it up, my confession email to the PI, begging him to bury the NYU theft. Forged, but seamless. IP spoofed to my VPN. Jury murmurs. Doubts seated. My turn on the stand. Lights hot. Air thick. I faced them, 12 strangers. Faces etched with skepticism. Ladies and gentlemen, betrayal isn't a switch you flip. It's a slow poison. I paused, throat tight. Sarah Klein was my sister.
Once.
She slipped something into my life, ambition laced with deceit. When I uncovered her scheme,
She didn't confess.
she erased me. Gasps as I detailed the evidence. Victor's flipped testimony, subpoenaed, damning. Hacker traces leading to her commissary payments. Marcus projected the kill shot her prison calls. Recorded. Make it stick. Or we're both done. Jury leaned in. Sarah's feed glitched, her face paling pixel by pixel. But the twist, the real gut punch, came cross-exam. Her lawyer, smirking, MS. Riley, this erasure. Care to elaborate? Or is it code for your own guilty conscience? I froze. Then,
Fuck it.
truth serum time. She tried to kill me. Roofied my drink that night in the bar. After I confronted her. Made it look like suicide.
I
survived. Barely. Court erupted. Objections flying. Bailiff barking. The judge, a silver-haired hawk, pounded gavel. Order, MS. Riley, that's a serious allegation. Evidence. None, I admitted, heart hammering. Just my word. And hers. I nodded to the screen, where Sarah sat frozen, eyes wide with the shock of exposure. Her lawyer pounced. Delusional. Your Honor? A disgraced XX fantasy revenge porn. But the seed was planted. Reporters swarmed recess. Headlines shifting. Did jailed fraudster attempt murder? Riley's bombshell claim. Elena visited that night, bearing contraband Starbucks. Bold move.
Kid.
Risky as hell. Had to, I said.
Sipping.
No more half measures. She squeezed my hand. Twist, I pulled strings. That PI? He's singing Sarah's puppet. And the emails? Breadcrumbs to her server. Vindication dawned slow. A federal probe flipping the script. Sarah's appeal? Shredded. Added charges. Attempted murder. Witness tampering. Victor. Cornered again. Testified in full, her rants about finishing Hannah, the roofie vial in her purse that night. Jury deliberated 3 days. Tension a noose. Verdict. Not guilty.
Me.
Cheers echoed. Marcus hugging like we'd won the Super Bowl.
Outside.
Rain lashed the steps. But the air tasted clean. Sarah's final send-off. Life without parole. Her video feed a snarl. You got lucky.
Hannah.
Next time. There is no next time, I said. Off mic.
Rot.
The aftermath? Bittersweet cocktail. Kensington settled the Biogen suits, millions to families. My name cleared but scarred. I resigned. The shine off the crown. Time for a pivot, Elena said, hooking me with a nonprofit, ethics watchdog for Big Pharma. Real work. Redeeming ghosts. NYU? They expunged my record posthumously, no. Wait. Alive and kicking. The theft? Mutual confession. Sealed forever. Sisterhood's last gift. Years on. I walk Central Park at dawn. Coffee steaming. City waking slow. No more poisons. No more graves. Vengeance closed the loop. But forgiveness? That's the harder hustle. Sarah? Last I heard. She's writing a memoir from the inside, betrayed by the bitch who wouldn't die. Publish or perish.
Me? I'm alive. Truly.
And that's the cruelest revenge of all.